So it was another big week of AI hockey, and we can get stuck straight into it with the round 10 results and some big results here, Courtney.
Yeah, we saw a lot of interesting things happen over the weekend, and there's quite a few very close games where it's the margin is just a 1-goal difference. So a lot of tight games, which I think makes it really interesting and exciting for the fans. One game personally that had me on the edge of my seat was the Melbourne Ice North Stars game. So pretty good first period, but racking up, I think it was around 88 penalty minutes between the second and third periods was certainly interesting. I call that stressful hockey for me. I don't like seeing anyone get hurt or I love the physicality, but not over the top. So that was certainly an interesting one. And but one that stood out to me on Saturday was the Brisbane Lightning Ice Dogs game. That one really came down to the wire. I'll call it an almost goal by the Ice Dogs that was waved off as the puck crossed the blue line, crossed the goal line just after the buzzer went. So it was like a mere seconds, but the ref was right on that line. And I think a lot of Ice Dogs fans would have preferred to have won it on the cusp of regulation, but they went to OT and were able to finish it. And on Sunday, seeing the Brave as they keep proving they're getting back in form, a nice big win over the Mustangs. So was good to see on that end. And just seeing the Brave find their feet again. So OT in Newcastle, again, another interesting one for North Stars fans and down to the wire. But I want to shout out Charlie Smart on that game. He faced 53 shots and only 2 went in. I think that is a phenomenal effort from a goalkeeper in this league. And as said as much from Ben Bro when I interviewed him after the game. Any thoughts on any games you watched, Doogie?
Well, the two that I picked out last week when we were talking about it was the Rhinos, Adrenaline, and the Ice Dogs and Lightning. And they were the two games I was really looking forward to. And those two games on the Saturday were phenomenal. But that Ice and North Stars game, I wasn't watching it live, but I was getting messages from people throughout the coverage, and it was like, it's getting chippy. It's getting heated. It's going to boil. I was getting all these messages from people saying it's going to be on here. It's going to be on here. And then I did get a message from Corey Katina, and he sent me a message and he said 0 penalty minutes in the first and 66 in the second, or something along those lines. And I was like, what is actually happening?
I mean, when you have a player from each side of the bench who got 5 and 20s, that really throws those numbers up very quickly.
And those players, was it Hamish Powell and Liam Webster? I mean, first time either of those guys have been in trouble.
Shocking, right? I think something that caught a lot of people's attention too was both were against unwilling combatants. So Liam's was, Bo went in for a shot, and as he skated past the goal, he got pushed into Ishida. And then it all blew up from there. And so it's interesting when you're getting those sorts of penalties against people that aren't fighting back.
And we all know that goaltenders are untouchable. So you can't touch a goaltender.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially in this league, because everybody relies so much on that starting goalie. So yeah, they got to protect them. But the unwilling combatants is always an interesting one. Again, in this league with guys, they got to go to work on Monday morning. It's a fair ask to ask someone to drop gloves and get into it.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I'm always surprised when it happens, that sort of stuff, especially when you've got to front up to work on the Monday. I think on Saturday too, a big result was the Mustangs, a big 5-2 win over the Brave. Getting Scott Timmins back obviously helps, and Scott came up big for the Mustangs. And that game, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on as well, that Melbourne Ice Sydney Bears game on the Sunday was absolutely unbelievable. End-to-end, goals galore, and it was the title of this episode, Bar Burners and Penalty Boxes. Brody Lindahl getting the winner as well against his former team. It was a decent crowd there as well. Absolutely unreal. Two of the best teams, 1 and 2 in the Hell Yeah. Two of the best teams in the league. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I think
that's a great game.
I think that was that result really speaks for itself as far as where those two sit in the standings, and I think we'll look at that in a moment. As far like the more than anyone, I think those two are really battling it out for that top spot, and every game is going to count. So that's a really big one for the Bears to take at those points.
Yeah, massive win for the Bears. Puts them sort of up there. And I guess it's keeping touch with the Ice at this point, given I think the Ice got a game in hand still. But look, I think you'd be hard pressed to say any other teams are really hunting them at the moment. As good as Perth have been, and they've been very good, but geez, the Bears and the Ice are flying.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got some comments here. So GG just letting everyone know that he's recovering from injury. We'll be back soon. And another comment from GG, Toivonen had 2 really good starts in a row against the Bears last weekend and on Sunday against the Stangs. Absolutely massive Toivonen coming back into the roster. It's I think it's really it's just obviously we know the talent, but it's just made the Brave so much stronger.
Yeah, it's been great. It's taken a bit of pressure off Alex too, and like Tets was great through the first 14 games of the season. We played 13 in a row, but having that tandem and those two work really well together as a goaltending tandem. But having Alexi to come back in and start those big games, and you can go to him, and he's going to give you a really high quality goaltending. And in those 2 games, he's been incredible, especially on the small confines in Canberra. It's easy to score on a pond, isn't it?
Andrew John Egan in the chat as well. Gooch going after the record we set in Div 3 summer. I think I know what he's talking about there. As a new coach with new qualifications, get better soon, GG. And GG's all in the comments tonight. GG, first time the Bears beat the Thunder at Macquarie in regulation since July 2018. That is unbelievable stat, actually.
Yeah. Especially
so
given
GG's pulling out. Yeah, GG's pulling out the goods. Natasha Denton is always here every week. New lineup tonight. Hello, Tristan. I don't know you, but I hope you're well.
Tristan is our stats man, Natasha. So 98% of our stats are coming from the brains of that very smart man.
Much better with spreadsheets than I am with podcasts.
Jump on the website and you can see all Tristan's work on there. It's all good stuff. Corey Katina as well. It's going to be fun to watch that battle for the rest of the season. Natasha in the comments as well. And Clothy, nice to see Tristan bring out the Cook Islands formal wear for the evening.
Mate, last Sunday best,
I'm guessing it's probably a bit warmer where you are, mate, than we are at the moment.
A little bit.
So the other result I wanted to highlight as well, and we can have a quick discussion before we move on. I think it's really cool to see Adelaide get back-to-back home wins. We know how much Adelaide fans have been starved of wins on their home deck in their home rink. So I think it was really cool to see a packed ice arena there in Adelaide, watch their team get 2 important wins. Caden Elder scored 4 goals on the Sunday. Just an unbelievable talent. We're blessed to have someone like Caden in the league. And the rink, it was packed out. Like you look on the other side from the grandstand, you see people standing around the netting there getting rowdy. So it was really cool to see the Adrenaline get 2 back-to-back wins.
And you mentioned it in your 5 for Riding article, Doogie, just about the rink stuff and the issues they had.
Yeah, it sort of looked like I was watching it live, and it looked like I felt like the game was going to be called off. And I know that I was putting the comments in the Slack that it didn't look promising. There was people coming out checking the ice. The coaches were talking. The players were there. The players disappeared. But they got it up and running in the ice crew at the arena. So good stuff to them to get the game going again.
Yeah.
So was it the signage that was lifting?
Yeah, it was some signage that was lifting through the top of the ice there. So they had to fix that up.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit scary as a skater. You wouldn't want to run over that. That could easily create issues.
Yeah, well, I think when the coaches and etc. were checking out the rink, I think they definitely want to make sure that it was 100% safe. So it was a bit of a delay to start the third period, but yeah, it was good that they actually finished the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, worth shouting out as well. That was on Saturday's game and Sunday's game. The first 2 wins for Ryland Toff as well in the Adrenaline. He's been great for them since he came in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice to see a team in front of him put a few goals on the board and get him that W.
Well, it was the thing that the Adrenaline were lacking, weren't they, Tristan? Just getting goals. They seem pretty tight defensively and doing a good job. It's just, and I always think when people, I think, how do I word this? I always say to people that I think your best defense is scoring goals. If like scoreboard pressure, I think scoreboard pressure is a huge thing in sport, and I don't think people talk about it. You can be defensively sound all you want, but if you have goals on the board and scoreboard pressure, that really tightens up the opposition.
Oh, absolutely. And if you've got a goalie like Toth in there and like Ishida, like 13, like James Downey's started the season as well, you don't need many goals, but you've got to have something in there. And it was good to see the Adrenaline, especially on Sunday, just open it up a little bit and really start to score.
We got GG in the comments. It was awesome to see Zach Boyle get the winner on Saturday and Toth finally getting his first wins, despite being credited with a shutout loss earlier in the season. And Natasha, awesome. Thanks for your smarts, Tristan. So all the love for Tristan tonight.